Hey guys! I hope that you guys are doing amazing wherever you are in the world. My name is Shikha and I welcome you to my channel. I'm so grateful that you guys are listening, subscribing, and commenting on my channel. I really appreciate the support. In this video, I wanted to speak to you guys about space. Now, not like the space, the final frontier, but space within ourselves, right? My quest on this planet, my constant inner quest on this planet is to create space within myself. This might be, a metaphorical space in the fact that I'm trying to create space so I can have space to think and dream and reflect. It's also physical space, so I have the space to dream and think and reflect, the physical space to roam around and think and reflect. Also the mental space and the mental clarity, the mental space, the time space to think about all the things that I care about. And so all of this space, I'm absolutely fascinated and obsessed with creating this kind of space in my life. Right? That's one of the main reasons I moved to Chiang Mai is because I wanted to create this space, because I feel like time kind of slows down here in Thailand. Everyone isn't rushing around doing crazy things. There's a lot more time here, and time actually, as you guys know, time isn't really just time. It has different modes and modalities to it depending on where you are. And in Toronto, time moves very fast. I'll get up in the morning, I'll do a few things, and boom, the day's gone. In Thailand, I'll get up and I'll do a lot more things. And maybe it's just in my mind, it's maybe a placebo effect. But I notice that I have a lot more time. Time expands here for me. And again, it might be a mental construct of my own, but that's fine. Because it's all right, because I'm able to do much more here because of that expansion of time. And as I said, that's one of the main reasons I moved to Chiang Mai, or I like living in Chiang Mai, is because of that expansion of time. I notice instantaneously, as soon as I get off the plane and I go to my apartment or I go to a hostel in Chiang Mai, when I land, I notice instantaneously that I feel like something within me relaxes, something within me that is associated with time just takes a sigh of relief and says, all right, cool. So now we can actually relax a little bit. And we have a little bit more time to think and gather information, and to think about information, to reflect on information, to be in this world and to do our work. And all of a sudden I feel, as I said, as soon as I land, I feel the sigh of relief, right? And I know the opposite obviously happens when I go into Toronto, and I'm sure, again, as I said, it's a mental thing perhaps, but it's important. Mental stuff is still important. It's still real to us, right? And so I notice as soon as I go to Toronto, no matter if I meditate, no matter if I do all my morning routine, no matter what I do, I notice that time shrinks and I seem to have less of it, and time moves very fast and everyone's rushing around me doing more and more things, and the world seems to be moving at such a fast pace that I feel like I'm just kind of going crazy. I also noticed that people age faster in Toronto than in Chiang Mai or in Thailand. Obviously, the living here is a little bit less stressful. It's less tiring, and also, the sun is always out and you're able to do more. You're physically active. You're not hibernating in the winter. You're eating better food, more organic, etc., etc. There's a lot of differences, but I do notice that the people in Chiang Mai, even the older people, they don't look their age. They look 10, 20 years younger than they are, just because it the time thing changes, right? And so this is all about space for me. The time space obviously is paramount. I want to create more time in my life so I can do more stuff. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that I say no to a lot of events. I say no to, I would say 99% of the things that people ask me to do. So can you do this for me? No. Can you come here with me? No. Do you want to go to this event? No. And so a lot of that no creates a lot of space in my life. As I said, physical space, obviously, but time space, which is paramount. And then therefore, I'm able to do a lot more stuff with it. Now, mental space, that's another one that's a really big one for me, is that I'm always trying to figure out in my head what in my head is causing me a lot of angst and what is taking up a lot of my head space, right? Our head space is precious footage, or precious square foot, precious space, right? It's just precious to us. It's like a palace, right? And what most of us end up doing is we end up using a couple of rooms of this magnificent, immense palace. We have this huge palace in our head, and we end up using a couple of rooms to do our work because the rest of the rooms are filled with shit, with crap, with mental masturbation, with stuff we should not be worrying about or thinking about, right? But because we're so used to doing that, we end up using a little bit of our brain to do the real work that we want to do. And then the rest of it, we're spending it using worry, we're spending it worrying, being anxious, thinking about things that are never going to come to fruition, thinking about the future that might never come to fruition either, thinking about the past that has already passed and you can never really do anything about it, worrying, anxiety, overthinking, right? And so all of those beautiful rooms are being used for shitty purposes. And therefore, my thing on this planet, my ardent desire is to make sure that I am dusting off all those rooms, removing all that shit from them, and actually using as much as possible my mental capacity for work, for creative work, rather than shitty, useless, overthinking, analyzing work, right? Now, of course, it's a process. Meditation obviously helps a lot with that. Wim Hof breathing helps a lot with that. Relaxing yourself and being in the present moment helps a lot with that. But I'm constantly moving towards figuring out, what am I worrying about? What am I spending a lot of my time thinking about? What exactly is taking up my brain space? What is taking up my mind palace? Why am I spending time thinking about that rather than spending time thinking about my creative work, right? And if I do figure out something that's causing my mind palace to be disturbed, then I'll try to take care of it as soon as possible. And that's one of my strategies in improving the quality of my life, but also reducing the clutter in my head. And a quick example would be something like if you have a conversation that you really know you have to have with a friend, with a family member, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna have to talk to this person. It's important. It's inevitable. I can't postpone it anymore. I really do have to talk to them. But obviously you keep on postponing and you postpone more and more and more. And all of that time, your brain is being occupied in the background, not the foreground, but the background. You're thinking about that, worrying about it, worrying about how it's gonna go, worrying about what are you gonna say. And your mental space is taken up by that, right? And so if I have anything like that, I try as much as possible to do that thing right away. I try as much as possible to put it on my to-do list for today, and I will check it off today. And I'll get rid of that shitty item so I'm not thinking about it and mulling over it and worrying about it and wasting my precious brain space on it. And I'll get it over with, and then I'll feel that sigh of relief. And then I'm able to, not occupy my mind with that, but occupy my mind with something creative, something that matters to me, something that improves my world or improves the world in general. Anything creative, anything that has positive effects on my world and the world around me, right? And so as much as possible, I'm always kind of thinking about, what am I worrying about? Let me remove that item from my life. What am I overthinking about? Let me remove that item from my life. What am I analyzing to death? Let me again remove that item from my life, right? And so as I said, saying no to events, things, places, people is a big part of it, obviously, to increase your time space. Your mental space, removing all that shit stuff that is causing you to disturb your mind palace. Physical space, minimalism has been a big part of it. Decluttering and minimalism has been a major part of creating more space in my life, because then I'm not spending my time worrying about physical items. And a lot of people actually spend a lot of time worrying about their physical items. They might have 2 or 3 cars. All of those cars need upkeep and care. They might have a couple of houses in the city and the country. They have to worry about the upkeep of those houses. They have a lot of stuff in the garage and in the closets, in the basement, in the attic, and all those things need to be taken care of or cleaned out or sold or bought or, all that stuff. All that stuff requires care, a regular upkeep or care. Otherwise, it's going to disintegrate, deteriorate. Yeah? Even the little bit of stuff that I have, and I have very few things in my life right now, I've given away most of my things little by little by little, and so I pretty much carry all of my stuff in 2 suitcases. Of course, I buy a few things here when I'm here, like an induction cooker or pots and pans and things like that, which I usually give away when I leave. But mostly my clothing and my shoes and stuff can fit into 2 bags, 2 suitcases here. And then I have a box of stuff at my parents' house, like a plastic box where I have some stuff there as well. And so that's really it. Those are my items. And so it's much easier for me mentally, physically to take care of these things, right? Physically, they don't occupy a lot of space, which means that I have the physical space, the dream thing. I can move around my house. I can walk. I can do yoga here. I don't have stuff cluttering the space up so that I don't have space to move, to think, to breathe, to dream, right? You need space. You need expansion in order to dream, in order to be creative, in order to be able to be in that physical space and not worry about things all the time, right? And I know some people whose homes are so cluttered that they're tripping over things every single time they even walk to get something from the fridge. Or they're like, they're dropping things here and there because it's just overfilled. It's just their stuff, their closets and their tables are just overfilled with shit, right? Not stuff they're actually using, but just stuff that they can't give up, right? And that obviously causes a lot of space reduction in your head, in your mentally, obviously, physically, absolutely. And just metaphorically, if you are thinking about it, it just reduces the space in your entire life, right? And so again, that's a big part of my space reduction strategy as well, minimalism and decluttering. As much as possible, I try not to bring new items into my life. But if I really need to buy something, I will try to get rid of one item in exchange for that, right? One similar item. So, of course, if I need an air purifier and I really need it for my health, I'll be like, all right, cool, let's buy one. It's absolutely necessary. It's useful. It's not a space inhibitor. It's actually, your health is paramount, right? So don't do something to endanger your health, but obviously take care of your health and take care of your space, right? So again, this topic is probably very abstract, and a lot of you probably don't think about space as I do. I think about space a lot because I'm always trying to create more and more of it so I can do the work that I need to do. I need a lot of space in order to do the work I do. I need a lot of creative energy, and creative energy requires a lot of space to do the work that I do. Oh my God, it absolutely requires a lot of space. And so I'm always thinking about this topic. Perhaps you guys don't think about it as much as I do. Maybe you do. I have no idea. But I'd love to hear from you guys on this topic or any other topic that I've done. Message me anytime. I'm here to answer your questions or to have a conversation. And I shall see you guys the next time around. Bye for now.